Listen, there's a moment when everything shifts financially. Not when you get a raise, not when you download another budgeting app, not even when you promise yourself that this month is going to be different. There's a shift that happens when you stop saying, I don't know where my money is going, and you start saying, no, 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 this is where my money is going to go. As someone who has filed bankruptcy before, become debt free, but more importantly, has experienced real financial freedom, I know this firsthand that there is a moment when you stop letting your month happen to you and you start deciding where your money is going to go before the month even arrives. That is the moment that you stop reacting and start directing your finances. And most women, most people don't even realize just how powerful that moment actually is. Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Breakthrough Bestie podcast. I am your host, Angela Brock, and I'm a money strategist for women who are ready to take control of their finances and build real wealth. Listen, this is the last episode in the series Invisible Money Leaks. So if you haven't seen any of the previous videos, I want to encourage you to go back and do so because today we are talking about the moment that you start reclaiming direction over your money. So let's get into it. Over the last few videos in this particular series, we have talked about how reclaiming direction actually happens, right? So we've talked about how your money follows patterns and how convenience shapes your financial blueprint. We've talked about how attention decides what gets supported and how busyness keeps you maintaining instead of building, right? We've even talked about how those small decisions add up and how drift feels normal while it's happening. And none of that was to make you feel bad, but rather it was to help you to get clear. And once you get clear and you see it, you really can't unsee it, right? And that's when things can start to change. So, how does the shift happen? Well, reclaiming direction doesn't mean that you're now all of a sudden going to become so strict that you're tracking every dollar with anxiety. It means simply that you are not going to continue to let your month happen to you. And you're going to start deciding where your money is going to go before it does, right? So you're not reacting anymore. You're actually choosing. That's it. To me, it's a very simple decision, but it's powerful because you are the one who get to make it. So let's make this practical. Think about, if you've ever opened up your closet and realized that the things in your closet, from the clothes to the accessories, the shoes, the bags, right? It just doesn't fit or reflect who you are in this current season, right? At some point, you were wearing 6-inch heels on a regular basis, but maybe because of your current priorities, you are in the flip flops, slides, tennis shoes season, right? You just have different priorities. And right now, the things in your closet just feel outdated. And until you clean it out and rearrange it, you will still be dressing from an old version of your life. Your money can feel like that. Your financial patterns were built in a different season. It was different stressors, different priorities, different responsibilities, right? And unless you intentionally update it, you will keep living inside of something that no longer fits. Not because you're not capable of changing it, but because you haven't stopped long enough to evaluate it and change it. I know. Listen, this is what reclaiming direction actually looks like. It looks like you looking at your money and saying, this supports my life, this doesn't. This builds, this just maintains. And then you start shifting things intentionally, little by little, deliberate movements. Again, you don't need a financial personality transplant. You just need some clarity and some follow through. Doesn't need to be dramatic, doesn't need to be emotional. You just need to be deliberate with it. And this is where margin is going to matter. So when we talk about buffer and margin, right, you need some space to make these types of decisions, to think about it, right? When there is no breathing room, everything feels urgent, right? But when you have a large enough margin or some buffer, then you get to choose. You get to say, you know what, we're not doing that this month, right? Because you have the time to slow down and think about the choices that you're making financially, and then you get to choose. That is what direction feels like. It's not tight, it's not restricted, it's clear, calm, steady decision making. Make sense? The woman who builds wealth isn't always the woman who earns the most. She's the one who stopped letting her money move randomly. She made a decision and then she backed it up consistently. That's it. No drama, no extreme measures, just consistent direction. So now I want you to ask yourself this question and then answer it honestly. Where have I been letting my month just happen? What would change if I decided ahead of time where my money is going to go? What would feel different if I moved from reacting to choosing? Here's your anchor. Your money doesn't need more emotion, it needs direction. And direction starts the moment you decide to lead it, because direction doesn't start with income, it starts with ownership. So if this video has helped you to see your money differently, subscribe so that you can continue building habits that lead to real financial wealth. And then remember these two things. One, breakthrough starts when you decide to take control. And then two, wealth isn't built by accident. It is built by the decisions that you make today. I'll see you next time.